friends, so I actually watched The Incredibles a couple months ago and I made this reaction for y'all, but it's separate from my movie reaction. This is like the medical stuff that we, and health lessons we found.
Well, we found. Okay, I found.
in the movie, and we're gonna discuss together. I hope you enjoy it. Here it is. Studies show that homes that have guns have an increased risk for children to accidentally die by those guns. So if you are someone who has a gun at home, to keep children and yourself safe, we recommend separating the weapon from the ammunition and locking them in 2 separate locations with different locks and different keys.
I love you, but if we're gonna make this work, you gotta be more than Mr. Incredible. You know that, don't you?
So long as you both shall live. I do.
There is a wonderful thing that happens when 2 people come together and they want to start a family. If you are someone who's entering this relationship and you're not sure how long it's gonna last, or you're just kind of in the moment pursuing it, I would encourage you to sit down and be thoughtful about what it is that you want to come of this relationship. If you are someone who wants to have kids, if you are someone who wants to travel, and do you both have one really key thing, which is open communication. How do you deal with conflict? How do you deal with stress? And when things are tight, as they will always become, who do you depend on, and can you depend on each other during those stressful situations?
Why can't I do the best that I can do? Right now, honey, the world just wants us to fit in.
Dash is obviously less than 12 years old, so he should not be in the front seat. Also, he's not buckled in. And the baby in the back seat, you could see their eyebrows, so they're facing the front. Babies should be facing where, parents? They should be facing the back window, and they should be in a car seat and strapped, because if, God forbid, there's an accident, the car would get smashed and then the car seat would protect the child, versus if they're facing forward, they would hit the front seat. Family dinner. It's a positive protective factor for children, increases IQ, reduces mental health problems, for the child and for the parent too.
I'm not hungry for meatloaf. Well, it is leftover night. We have steak, pasta. What are you hungry for?
Tony Ridinger.
Shut up.
Well, you are.
I said shut up.
Sibling science is really powerful. To be completely fair, a lot of them have not been able to be replicated, but for any of us who have siblings, you know that there's some sort of science to it. The oldest tends to be the leader, but also a little bit insufferable and stubborn and had all the attention, so their IQ tends to be higher and also doesn't really understand how to negotiate well with other people. Then there's the middle child who had to have split attention with the parent and eventually was then superseded by the younger child, so they sometimes feel they don't have enough parental attention and have to get their attention from outside the family, perhaps creating a YouTube channel where they share their life with millions of strangers online and hope that someone would eventually listen to them. Then their family eventually does find it out and they're like, wait, what are you doing? And you say, hey, you recognize me? And they're like, what was your name again? And yeah, that's And then there's Jack, who is the baby, and the youngest one is typically the most spoiled, the most charming, the one that the family really looks at. They tend to be the more rebellious and risk-taking of the bunch because the parents are the most strict with the oldest, soften with every child. Typically, these are the typical ones.
You know why we can't do that.
Because it'd be great!
This is not about you!
All right, Dash. I know you're listening. Come on out.
Vi, you too, young lady.
Come on. Come on out.
Oh, wow. This is what I was referencing earlier when I said that it's really important as a couple to come up with what your expectations are from the relationship and how you communicate, especially when it comes to arguments and challenging discussions and stress. Their expectations are clearly not synchronized, and that is leading to difficulties with the relationship because he wants to continue with going out and living out what he's holding on to, which is being a superhero. And I wonder if there's an element of the social praise that came from it, and she is getting a lot of fulfillment from being a mother and the family that they have now. It was really interesting in the writing of that scene that they were talking about the child, but then also he was projecting his own feelings onto the conversation about Dash and Dash's graduation. When you exercise, you have to accomplish 2 things, which is you have to get your heart rate over 100 or just an increased heart rate, and you have to be sweating. And we encourage people to be working out or exercising, being active for about 2.5 hours every week. So it's about half an hour every day during the work days. And some things like fast walking, swimming, sports. Those are really wonderful things because you also get some social aspect to your exercise as well, and then healthy eating as well. We don't like to talk about, or at least I don't like to talk about, numbers and scales and weight as a concept. We like to talk more about healthy choices, and even though you might not see a change in the number on the scale, your body will start to change internally once you start feeding it right and treating it right. And also treating it right with your mind too. The stress component is also extremely important, how your mind is feeling.
Do you have an appointment?
I'm an old friend. I just
All
wanted to...
visitors are required to make
Get the
arrangements.
back room. Go check the electric fence or something. What is it? Who are you? What do you want? My God, you've gotten fat.
Hey, come in! Oh my God, you've got the ass lot. Also, we don't use the word fat anymore.
How soon can you get here?
I'll leave tomorrow morning.
See you there.
Goodbye.
Who was that, honey? The, office?
Another conference. Short notice, but you know, duty calls.
Communication. When you don't have an open communication, it leaves room for a lot of assumptions, and whenever you expect someone to assume what you're saying instead of what you're actually saying, then that tears apart any sense of communication, because you're asking them to reinterpret what you're saying and consider your intent rather than your impact, but then there's a lot of behind the scenes work that they're not privy to, and then they can make assumptions about you. It's easier when you just say what you mean and mean what you say, because then everyone knows exactly what you're feeling. To say otherwise confuses everyone.
After you trashed the last one, I had to make some major modifications. Sure, it was difficult, but you are worth it. I mean, after all, I am your biggest fan.
Buddy?
He is someone who, as a child, was affected by his role model. His role model affected him in a negative way, and he has harbored that, and it pent up inside him and became his villain story. And that's why I always think it's really important to be kind to everyone always, especially to children, because they're very impressionable, and the things that happen to them now, they carry with them for the rest of their lives. They just have more and more time to live with it. Now, that doesn't excuse his behavior, because we are not in control of the things that happen to us. We're only in control of how we respond to them, and he responded in a negative way and became the villain. I encourage you to do the ACEs. I will link it down below in the description with more resources for you to learn more about it. They are so fascinating, and I would like to hear your thoughts about it, because when I talked about it on social media before, a lot of you had some really interesting insights and things that we could do to modify the questionnaire based on when it was made and the questions that they do ask right now. It is very intense, so if you are not in the right headspace to currently do it, then I encourage you to just skip it for now. But if you have a therapist or a loved one, or just are in a better healthy mindset and would like to do the questionnaire just to see, then you can answer it, and then I'll link a video below to see what the study showed based on how many you answer yes to and what health outcomes you are potentially at risk for based on the study.
Bob is retired. I'm retired. Our family is underground. You help my husband resume secret hero work behind my back?
I assumed you knew, darling.
Yeah, don't assume.
Mom, Vi, I'm counting on you.
There's something
I'm counting on you. Be strong. Dash, if anything goes wrong, I want you to run as fast as you can.
As fast as I can?
As fast as you can. Stay hidden. Keep each other safe. I'll be back by morning.
Holy cannoli, is Mrs. Incredible a good parent? She just gave us a great example of one of the 4 parenting styles that some parents have. She has to be the authoritative one and establish a clear guidance for Dash, who is the middle child and the sibling. So she was able to say, Violet is in charge, Dash, you have to listen to her, because in case things go wrong, people need to know who to turn to. Similarly, in healthcare, whenever there's an emergency, we are all trained in BLS, which is basic life support, ACLS, and all these different trainings, PALS, which is pediatric advanced life support. What core thing that they teach us to do is to establish communication and roles so that we know who the team leader is. In the middle of a situation, everything is chaotic and stressful, and so we all need to be able to turn to someone and say, what do you need me to do? And then you just listen and don't ask questions, because that person's job is to think and everyone else's job is to do, and together we save people's lives. And so right now, her job is to do and protect her children, but also going to protect her husband. It is just masterful writing and a masterful scene.
But things are different now. And doubt is a luxury we can't afford anymore, sweetie. You have more power than you realize. Don't think. And don't worry. If the time comes, you'll know what to do.
great motivational speech. I also really appreciate when movies have a high vocabulary, kids movies in general, and that have positive messaging. Things like when Mrs. Incredible said, doubt is a luxury we cannot afford right now. It's good messaging and great vocabulary.
On peace and happiness, soon all will tremble before me.
So good! Oh, and it's all about family dynamics, parenting styles, mental health, adverse childhood experiences, being good to children, all the wonderful things we talk about here on the channel. Well, thank you all so much for watching with me. Please share your thoughts with me down below. I love reading all your comments. And as always, be safe, be strong, be swag. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Ciao. I love you.